Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stand. Erik ten Hag, here we go to Manchester United. It's the big thing we wait for when it is about transfers, and it has come in from Fabrizio Romano this afternoon. We love Fabrizio on this channel. He's been on the channel for quite a while, and I know people call him a tap-in merchant, but sometimes being a tap-in merchant ain't necessarily a bad thing, because it basically means you score. You shoot, you score. There's no uncertainty with this. Erik ten Hag is going to be Manchester United manager. I've been very confident about this for a very long time, and I think that it's great for those people who were having a little bit of doubt. So what has Fabrizio said? He's done it in the last few minutes. Erik ten Hag to Manchester United. Here we go. Agreement on contract now set, and Mitchell van der Gaag will be the priority candidate for the coaching staff. Ajax and Manchester United in contact to discuss the €2 million clause. Announcement timing depends on this. It won't be today or tomorrow. So, look, I know there's some of you that are still very nervous about whether this deal was going to happen. Was it just under 2 weeks ago? It was a Tuesday night 2 weeks ago that I think ESPN from the Netherlands were reporting that basically ten Hag was the manager that Manchester United wanted. And what we've seen over the last 2 weeks is the debate about that. Sue, says Maxud. We've just seen the debate about the technicalities of the contract, the role and everything like that they've been working on. And we're at that point now where Fabrizio and others can come out and say that the agreement is basically done between the manager and the club. Now it's about when Ajax and Manchester United want to officially announce it. And I remember saying this a couple of weeks ago. It's very similar to a transfer, this. We had 2 weeks ago deal done. And deal done is basically we want you and I want the job. And that's where we were 2 weeks ago. Today we've got agreement between the technical things like contractual and merchandising, whatever you want to call it. And then that's step 2. And then step 3 is when they officially give you the photos and everything like that. But I've been quite relaxed about it for 2 weeks now, quite excited about it for 2 weeks now. I think this is just a development of that path to him doing his interview and doing the photos. But I mean, all in all, just very, very happy. I mean, you know, it's funny. I saw some people this morning sort of tagging me into stuff saying, how long is it going to be before Goldbridge is, ten Hag out because he lost an Ajax final? I'm like, hold on a minute. Anyone who's a fan of this channel and watches this channel knows full well I was very late with Mourinho and I was very late with Ollie. And I actually think with ten Hag, this is the best manager that we've recruited since Sir Alex, because the way he wants to play football, the way he wants to build a team, his ethos, his vision, I think this is the most exciting manager we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson. If you think about it, Van Gaal was coming towards the end of his career. Mourinho was never famed for developing players. Ollie was a complete unknown. And Moyes, I felt, was never good enough to manage a top 4 club. With Erik ten Hag, we're getting a manager that's closer to a Jurgen Klopp. He's closer to a Pep Guardiola in relation to the way he styles his football, the way he develops his football, the way he builds football clubs. So I think this is the most exciting manager that we've appointed at Manchester United since the days that we had Sir Alex Ferguson here. Quite simply because he's a man who... Look, I know Rangnick has struggled to get this team to play good football, but Rangnick is an interim coach who took over in December, who wasn't even given a transfer budget to try and make changes in January. This is a manager that's coming in at the end of the season with a whole summer, 3 years in front of him. He will have money to spend. He will be able to remove players, and there will be no excuse not to build a team that plays football the way that he wants to play. So I think that is a huge, huge positive. I think that, as I said, the way that he plays football is a huge, huge positive. I mean, I know a lot of people basically were watching Ajax for the first time yesterday in the PSV game when we had it on, and I think people were getting very excited about the way that his centre-backs split and his full-backs bomb on and his midfielders drop into spaces, and when the opposition have got the ball, they press and they get numbers into the box. I don't think that's completely transferable to the Premier League. I think it would be quite naive to try and play like that. But this is a guy, ten Hag, who said that, observing Pep Guardiola in his first year of the Premier League, I think he was a little bit naive to what the Premier League is all about. So a guy who can analyse somebody else coming into the league, I think he's very methodical. He's a massive student of the game. And we are getting more of... We are getting a manager that takes this job very, very seriously as being a manager. He takes football very seriously. He analyses football on a very deep level, on a granular level. And there are no guarantees, but it's the right appointment. Afternoon, Mark. What happens to Phelan and Ollie's staff, says Mikael Roach. I don't know. They should be kicked out, really, but I don't know. Would not be surprised if the England booing was part of Harry's PR. Complete U-turn to positives after that. Fans stopped booing him and switched to Pogba, says Mashuk. I just hope he can. I just hope he can be a strong enough voice where the players will fight day in day out for him, says Daniel. And our midfield is a whole now, considering Pogba and Matic are leaving, says Anarud. In relation to the players getting on side for the manager, if you give the manager full power, then the players will get on side. Contrast this: Ralph Rangnick comes into the club, and the club make it very clear that he's got no power. Lingard's staying, even though you've said he can go. You're not getting Zakaria, even though you want him. This is a guy that very publicly has been undermined by this football club. If you're a player and Rangnick comes into you and says you're dropped, well, you'll be gone in the summer, I won't be. Simple as that. If Erik ten Hag comes into the club, walks into the club and says, you're out, you're not playing for this club, you're sold, everyone else will go, shit. It's all about the power. The club have got the part to play here. The board, Darren Fletcher, John Murtagh, whoever's making the decisions, as long as they give Erik ten Hag the decisions to get rid of anybody, then everyone will fall into line. The reason these players don't fall into line is because they've got power. Take their power away. Make them realise that they're in a privileged position. Too many of these players think that they've made it. You know, I'm a Man United player now and that's what I'll always be. And to be honest with you, that's the way the club has been run. Player power has got rid of managers. Player power has kept people in this club too long. We need to empower a manager that's interested in being successful on the pitch. If Erik ten Hag comes in and says, you know, Harry Maguire, I want him to be my centre-back, or Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I want him to be my right-back, or Luke Shaw, my left-back, and I'm going to make them brilliant, and he does make them brilliant, then who loses? But what he must be able to do is, if he decides that they're not good enough, he must be allowed to get rid of them. So, if you're tuning in a little bit late, we are live with Ten Hag. Here we go. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed. Here we go. Erik ten Hag, Manchester United, deal done. Whatever you want to call it. We will now await the official announcement of this. As I said, funnily enough, when on the Ralph Rangnick press conference a couple of hours ago, I don't think for 1 minute Man United will officially announce this any time before Wednesday. They'd be foolish to announce this before tomorrow night, because if we do get beat tomorrow night, on Wednesday you can go Erik ten Hag official and you get a bit of a positive bounce. Would they want to announce it before that? They might. I don't know. They might do. They might go and do what we did with Lindelof. I think it was Lindelof. We've certainly done it with other players where we put a statement out saying we're pleased to announce that Victor Lindelof has agreed a deal to join Manchester United pending a medical. They might put an announcement out saying we're pleased to announce that Erik ten Hag will be our manager next season. Interviews and everything will take place at the end of the season as he's now fully focused on Ajax. They might do something like that, but I don't think they will. I think they'll want to. I think that. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Actually, I've never really thought about it like that. I suppose that's quite logical that they would do that, because it's not like on Wednesday they can fly him over from the Netherlands and go, "Here's our new manager." He's got a game on Saturday for Ajax in a title race, so maybe we will get that. Maybe we will just get a bit of a holding statement to say that he's our manager, and the full interview will be in the summer. Because I remember with Jose Mourinho, his official announcement interview wasn't until July. So we might not get Erik ten Hag having his proper interview until July anyway. So how they announce it, I don't know. But as I said, Fabrizio Romano made two really good points about it, that it won't be in today or tomorrow, and that he wants Mitchell as his... Mitchell van der Gaag as his assistant coach, who is his current assistant coach at Ajax. And I think we get too hung up on who the assistant coach is going to be. Ultimately, I want him to bring his team from Ajax. That's what I want. Mark, do you think Erik ten Hag has already had conversations with some of our players? Because I remember Klopp saying he did before he joined Liverpool, says Amit. I don't know whether United have got the sort of players that would be good. Hi, Goldbridge. Are you going to play career mode? Anthony, I was just playing career mode on Twitch, and the chat told me about Here We Go, so I stopped it to come over here. So we've already done career mode. It was on Twitch and it'll be back tomorrow. Please do become a member, by the way. I've pinned it on the top of the live chat. If you want to become a member of the channel and support the channel, really appreciate that. We've got exclusive video content for you where you can start looking at Timber against Maguire and Anthony against Rashford and Chouamini against McTominay and compare these signings that we're looking to buy. Do check it out. Thanks everyone who becomes a member. If Ten Hag fails at United, then either the club should be dissolved or the owners must be kicked out. I think the great thing when you get a story like this, that Erik Ten Hag's going to be the Man United manager and here we go and all that jazz, I think the great thing about that is that instantly you start leaning towards what to expect. Welcome to the Members Club, Anthony Rodas. So what are you... I can tell you what I think. What are you expecting at Manchester United now that we've got Erik Ten Hag as our manager? Because I haven't really ever asked anybody about this, and I don't really know what everybody else thinks about this. But on a personal note, I think when Sir Alex retired and we got David Moyes, I was worried. When we got Van Gaal, I was like, let's see. When we got Mourinho, I was like, he will win us the league because that's what he does. When he failed and we got Ollie, I was like, God knows what's going to happen. And with Erik Ten Hag, I have no expectations because I don't know. It's been 10 years since we won a title. It's been 10 years since we were in a title race. So I don't know what we expect with Erik Ten Hag. But what I do and am passionate about is that we don't overstretch our ambitions. And what I mean by that is I don't want people talking about being in a title race in the next 2 years. I don't want people saying, well, year one, he's got to get fourth place. I think all these things are really... I think in year one we'll learn a lot, but I'm not saying like he's got 3 years, he doesn't have to be in the top four in 3 years. But I don't think in the first season we should set any expectations. You will set expectations. I guarantee you in August I'll be going, well, this is what I'd like. But we shouldn't set any expectations because that completely undermines the enormity of the job he's got to do. This team doesn't play good football. Something positive to feel about, says Nandan, and welcome to the Members Club, Kieran. I think it's really important that when you look at this positive news about Erik Ten Hag, you also look at where we are as a football club. Literally this morning, we're discussing that this team, this Manchester United team that Erik Ten Hag is going to inherit, is going to get the lowest points total in Manchester United's Premier League history. In 30 years of Premier League football, this team's going to get the lowest points. That means it's the worst Premier League team we've had in 30 years. So how can you sit there and go, one man, Erik Ten Hag, is going to take the worst Premier League side we've ever had to fourth place in his first season? And it's not just that. It's not just the worst Premier League side we've ever had. Factually, they are going to be that. It's also the worst footballing side we've had because they're rubbish at football as well. So they're going to factually be the worst Premier League side on points total, but they're also going to be the worst Premier League side that we've had in ability to play football. So I think saying, well, an FA Cup next year or a Carabao Cup next year or top four next year or a Europa League or whatever, I think it's completely and utterly unhelpful to even start putting those sort of parameters in place. Liverpool won the Carabao Cup. We're not better than them. Chelsea and Liverpool are in the FA Cup final. We're not better than them. Fourth place, well, look, who knows who's going to be fighting for fourth place next year. Erik Ten Hag has got to get this team playing good football, remove most of the squad, replace it with better players, and then get us top four in year one. I think we've got to be realistic. And that therefore, for me, as excited as I am about this, I look at the first season and say, the gauge really for me is how we play football and how we measure up during the season to teams. Because I think in the first month there might be some real bumps, but by Christmas time I hope we're starting to, level out a little bit. And by the end of the season, you hope that we're much better than we were at the start of the season. Where that puts us in the league, where that puts us in tournaments, I don't know. But I don't think we should be setting expectations because they're blind expectations. We don't know how good the team's going to be. We don't know how long it's going to take. We don't know how many of the crap players are still going to be part of the first team next season. It's a massive job. And if you think about the 3 years that Solskjaer has set this club back, it could take 3 years just to get back where we were when he started. Mark, my expectations for next season is playing style under him. That's all. Attacking football, even if we finish 7th, I'm okay, says Reeves. And agreed, Mark. I'm afraid that Erik Ten Hag will not get the full time this squad needs, says Daniel. With Ten Hag, my expectations are clear. Rebuild it properly, says Mojo. And welcome to the Members Club, Michael. Thank you, everyone who does become a member. Thank you very much to Michael. And I think that's the challenge that we have as the fan base now. Now that we know that Erik Ten Hag's going to be the manager, now that we know he is the chosen one, two things. First of all, applause to the club. They've done a lot wrong and they will do a lot wrong. And we all know what we think about the Glazers. But very, very surprised that they've gone with Erik Ten Hag over Pochettino. So I applaud that. I think it's very much a nod to the fans rather than a nod to people who've made bad decisions before. I know that there are ex-players and people in the media that are pissed off that United haven't gone with Pochettino, but maybe if you've got a few things right in the past, they might have listened to you this time, but you got things wrong. You were the one sat there backing Solskjaer. The club backed Solskjaer. It was a bloody mess. Maybe they're looking at the fans now and going, well, maybe that's the path we need to go down. Uga, thank you very much for joining the Members Club. So, yeah, first of all, well done to the club. They didn't need to pick Ten Hag. They could easily have gone with Pochettino, and they would have had the backing of their normal friends in the media and ex-players. Welcome to the Members Club, Scott Harrison. The second point to that is the fans have got what they want. They now need to back what they want. And what I mean by that is that over 80% of the fan base wanted Erik Ten Hag. From match-going fans to worldwide fans to social media fans, or as I call them, United fans. Whether you're a match-going fan, a worldwide fan, you're on social media, you're all fans of this football club. You know, we live in a world without barriers now. Physically going to a game's great, but some people can't go to a game. Doesn't mean they don't know as much as the person who does go to the game. United fans in general wanted Erik Ten Hag. It's now our job to protect our choice. And what I mean by that is that early next season, there will be some bad results. We might go away to Wolves and lose 2-0. And you might turn Sky on and there might be an ex-player that wanted Pochettino going, does Pochettino lose this game? I don't think he does. I think this league's too big for Ten Hag. He looks out of sorts. He looks naive. I think he's played way too open there. Not sure this is great. Drip, drip, drip. We're going to get that. You're going to get that. And your challenge as a fan is to stick by the decision you've made today, last week, last month, and go, I knew this was going to happen. I knew these people who didn't want Ten Hag, who wanted Pochettino, in and around the media, the ex-player brigade, I knew they were going to do this. Because, like any individual, they want to be proved right. And when that happens, which it will happen, you've got to be steadfast and you've got to go, look, I knew we were going to lose games of football this season. I knew it wasn't going to spin around in a year. And the reason I knew it was going to take time is because it's a new brand of football. He couldn't clear the whole team out in the first summer and never was going to be able to. And it was always going to take time because there are better teams than us. And it's whether we as a fan base can do that. Because there will be bumpy rides in the first few weeks and months. He's not just going to come in and win every game. I feel like a big reason they learnt towards Erik Ten Hag in the end was because PSG bottled the Champions League in the Bernabeu. So I'd probably look extra bad, says Sonic. Mark, I'm happy for this news, but I'm not really convinced. We've changed managers like a woman changes her clothes, says Omar. Very sexist, Omar. The club should remove Target. I change my jumper 3 or 4 times a day, as you see. It's the 3rd time I'm streamed today, and I've got a different top on. Jim Jam says the club should remove targets for his first season and show they are serious about the long term. Yep. And Ten Hag not lasting a season, average manager, says Luther. And now it's time to make Ralph Rangnick director of football, says Michael Nolan. Well, look, I know Luther was a troll. Maybe he believes it, maybe he doesn't. But it's funny because when Erik Ten Hag's Ajax lost last night, you go on social media and you're getting tagged into all sorts of stuff from rivals. But I really don't care. Welcome to the Members Club, Brian Deaton. I really don't care. You know, you don't care about being bantered and you don't care about people giving you abuse or trolling you when you're comfortable in your own skin. I'm 100% comfortable with the Erik Ten Hag appointment. There is no doubt in my mind. Absolutely none. I'm not nervous. I wasn't bothered about Ajax losing last night. I'm not worried about people saying they wanted Poch. I'm completely convinced this is the right decision and I'm going into this with my eyes open. I'm not nervous. I know what it's going to take. I know what's needed. I know it's going to take patience and I'm confident that we'll get there. But I just hope that the fan base doesn't start to wilt or turn early because it will take time. It has to take time because we're so far away from where we need to be. What I would say is this. I disagree that we write the first 2 years off. I think the first season without expectations is right. It doesn't mean that we can't get top 4. It doesn't mean that we can't win a trophy in the first season. But I just think putting a label on it is dangerous. I think the first year is right, and a lot of you've said it. It's about getting the team to play football. It's about putting, you know what it is? It's putting smiles on faces. That's what next season is. It's about putting smiles on the face. It's about what Adam talks about. Old Trafford this season's been weird. It's about getting that atmosphere back. It's about moving in the right direction. Because look, if you buy a plot of land and you start building a house and you show people the house you want to build, people will build the house with a smile on their face, excited about when it's going to be completed. If you haven't bought the land and you've got no plans to build a house and you're just walking around aimlessly, people become dejected and fed up. And this fan base next season is about putting smiles back on people's faces. That's the label for season 1. And I think that's achievable. I'd be very worried if it was Christmas time and we're still playing like Ollie used to play. Richard Arnold has already done a better job than Woodward by just listening to the football people. I'm excited about Ten Hag agreeing with all the details, says Mario Franco. Welcome to Members Club, Robbie G. Thank you very much for joining, Robbie. You can do that by clicking the button at the top of the chat. And Manas as well. Welcome to the club. The Ten Hag Club. The Here We Go Club. He's the right choice, the fans' choice, but we can't crumble when it ain't going well because he's going to struggle with them bunch of players, says Sean Turner. And I think Sean's absolutely correct. And I think the reason I have faith that the Eric Ten Hag deal will go well, and I will get clips on this and it will get played in 2-3 years' time. The reason I think Eric Ten Hag will be a success is because when we do get bad results and things do not go well, what's going to change from now? And what I mean from now is Rangnick has had very little criticism. And he has made bad choices. He's made bad team selections. He's stuck with Maguire and he's done lots of bad things. But Rangnick's never had any criticism, really, because the fans are so fed up with the players. That's not going to change next season. Eric Ten Hag will bring his own players in, but he'll only be able to bring in 4 or 5. And they will be given the patience that every new signing deserves. So they won't get criticised. But the rest of his team, 6-7 players, will be players from this year. And if we are losing games at the start of next season, it will be because of those players. Because they're the players that the fan base doesn't trust. So what will happen next year is that even when we get bad results, I still think that there will be bad feeling towards some of the players from this year. And that will protect Ten Hag in his first season the same way it's protected Rangnick the last few months. I'm very happy with this channel. All you do is a great job, says Michael. Thank you very much for your support. Rashdan, welcome to the Members Club. Be Social says, I've watched you go through the struggles of this club. I'm so glad to see you happy. I was 16 yesterday and this is the best belated present, says Be Social. What a nice message. Happy birthday for yesterday. And Downey, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. Well, you know, the interesting thing is that, and I always find it funny because it goes back to what I've said before. When it comes, and I'm not talking about me here, I'm talking about the community that we have. You get called the negative stand. You know, this channel and this community, they're always negative, they're always moaning. And yeah, over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've noticed a lot of positivity, and I certainly feel positive. And then you get people moaning about, you know, why aren't you moaning about this? Why aren't you moaning about that? And I'm like, but you moan at us for moaning. And then when things are positive, you're moaning because we're not moaning. And you're led by what your feelings are. This is the worst Premier League Manchester United side. They're a joke. They're an embarrassment. And I think they'll embarrass themselves tomorrow at Anfield. But this manager decision is a breath of fresh air. I really thought the way this club was going, we would go with Pochettino and condemn ourselves to another 2-3 years of, you know, mediocre football at best. We've now taken a decision that I think is the right decision. And you're very rarely when I look at the last, you know what, to be honest with you, it's not even the last 9 years. Even the last few years of Sir Alex were very frustrating in the summer because we weren't buying a midfielder because there was no value in the market. So for many years, United have been a club that on many decisions you go, oh, I don't agree with that, I don't agree with that. So when United make a decision that you wholeheartedly agree with, you're going to sit there and moan, or you're going to sit there and go, applaud them. I think this club has made so many bad choices that when they make the right choice, we should applaud them, because otherwise we are just negative moaners about everything. And that's why I feel a bit positive, It's not because I think the Glazers are good for this club. It's not because I think that Richard Arnold's going to be the best CEO in the world. It's not because I think Darren Fletcher and John Murtagh are brilliant football people. They might be. But if they do something right, I think it's right to applaud it, because they do get a lot of negativity. They do get a lot of criticism, and it's very, very justified. But when they get something right and you applaud it, they might just hear that applause and go, well, the fan base isn't unreasonable. Maybe they're moaning at us because we're not very good at what we're doing, but look at the praise we're getting for this. And I want them to know that I want them to know that the club to know that the fan base is happy with them about this, because it shows what we are as Manchester United fans, is that we want the best for the football club. We want the football club to be the best. And when we see good decisions, we will applaud it. If Harry Maguire scores the winner against Liverpool tomorrow and we keep a clean sheet, are you going to moan about the fact that he put tweets out about basic passes over the weekend? He will get praised. This football club has made a lot of mistakes, but I hope this is the right one. He bottled the Dutch Cup final and the Champions League, yet I'm supposed to believe he's better than Poch, who outwitted Ten Hag, says Rash. Yeah, mate, you're living in the past, Rash. You're on UK Gold, pal. You're talking about a game that happened 3 years ago. Pochettino can't win away from home against shitty French teams. The fact that he'll control the... Look, in fact, Rash, can we just go back there? I'm not even... Let me just apologise to Rash there. Rash is very, very hurt and upset because he's not getting Pochettino. I apologise for comparing Pochettino to Ten Hag. There is no comparison, because Pochettino's jobless this summer and Eric Ten Hag's Man United manager, so swivel on those. There ain't no conversation. Pochettino's jobless. He ain't got this job. He didn't get the job. He lost. Don't care what he did 3 years ago against Ten Hag. He lost. He's not the United manager. Sit down. The fact that he will control the outgoings and incoming of players is amazing. Also, he'll be watching the United versus Liverpool games, says Charville. It would be a different high if this news led to some bounce amongst our players and they put in a proper shift tomorrow, says Mojo. This manager decision is going to be the best thing in 9 years, or an epic fail, and I'm buzzing for the good times, says Nick Warren. Look, you know what, Nick? I think you make a fantastic point. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is going to be a success. Most of you will. You'll be buzzing, you'll be excited, United are back. I get that. I'm not going to say that. I'm buzzing, I'm excited, but in 2 years' time, Ten Hag could get the sack. And you will get people in the chat going, yeah, but you said Ten Hag's the right decision. I agree. I didn't say he was going to win us the league. I didn't say he was going to get us a treble. I didn't say he was going to get us back on track. It might be mission impossible to get this club back on track. There's still a lot of things wrong with this club that we know from previous managers. They don't buy you the players that they want. They don't fully back you. They don't give you freedom. Those things are all up in the air. So let's not start predicting that Eric Ten Hag's going to do for us what Klopp's done for Liverpool and get us back on track. I think he potentially could. Very difficult job. But I'll make it very, very clear. I am not making any predictions about this United are back or anything like that. I think it's the right decision, but I wouldn't be surprised in 2 years' time if he's sacked, because that's what's happened for the last 9 years at United. The job's very difficult. Joke for the day, what do you call an alligator in a vest? An investigator. Michael Nolan, there you go. Eric Ten Hag has to be allowed to do things his way and up from the youth, from the top to bottom. Rome wasn't built in a day, says Ashley Smith. And great to have Ten Hag. My only expectation is that we play some proper football so that watching the game becomes fun again. Omka, exactly. And I think that's what we will get. I think it's about putting smiles back on people's faces. Make sure you smash a like on the video, by the way. Eric Ten Hag, here we go. We don't get many of these videos. So in the spirit of here we go, Eric Ten Hag, make sure you smash a like on the video. Anup says, have you seen Maguire walking away from celebrating the free kick? I have. And, you know, let's just see what happens with him. I don't think he should be captain next year, but it wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you. It had to be, here we go, on Donny's birthday, says John Mills. Yes, it is. Apparently Rooney just got relegated. I don't know whether that's true or not. Let me have a quick look. There is championship games going on. Oh, stunning comeback by Reading. Old Incy has produced a stunning comeback. What's going on? What's going on? Oh my God. Reading, who were 3-1 down at half time, and 4-1 down. Old Incy, the governor. What a day. We've got Ten Hag, here we go. So Reading, Paul Ince, he's on the show, ex-United player. He's managing Reading in the Championship, the league below the Premier League. They basically look like they're going to go down. He's got them some good results recently. They're losing 4-1 at home to Swansea after 58 minutes. And it ends up being 4-4 with a 90+5 equaliser, which puts Reading 7 points clear of Peterborough with 3 games to go. Derby can't catch them. They've been relegated. So it's over for Rooney, which is sad. But Incy has done it. Big shout out for Incy. Wolfie, thank you. Welcome to the Members Club. Can't wait to see the ex-player's reaction to this. I'm just going to put a tweet out for him. Let me do that. Well, it's managerial success all round at the moment, isn't it? But it's lovely when you know people, and I know that you feel like you know me, which you should do by now. And he's a top guy, Incy, and it's nice. I like Rooney. I don't know Rooney personally, but I do know Incy, and I'm very pleased that they're staying up. I think it's fantastic news. There you go. Rooney's done a fantastic job there, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Do you think Donny will play more, says Herbie? Well, it's Donny's birthday today. What a birthday present it is. Here we go from Fabrizio Romano about Erik Ten Hag being the new manager. It's a bit like that song by Frank Sinatra, isn't it? If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. And Donny van der Beek, his career was basically made by Erik Ten Hag. So if he can't make it under Erik Ten Hag, he can't make it under anybody in the Premier League. So he will get his opportunity, and it'll be very interesting to see. I mean, the way I look at it is not like that. I don't look at it like, can Donny van der Beek be a success at Manchester United under Erik Ten Hag? I look at it, if I'm Erik Ten Hag, going, well, straight away I've got a player in that team that I know I can trust 100% and can play the way I want to play. I don't look at it about Donny's career being rescued. I look at it from Erik Ten Hag's career and go, well, straight away, even if he brings his coaching team to United, he's got no player that he can go 100%, I know that they're going to work. But with Donny van der Beek at Manchester United, he knows he's got a player that knows how he wants to play and will back him 100%. So he's already got one straight away. If he brings another one with him from Ajax, whether it's Anthony or Timber, that's 2. Then buys 3 or 4 players as well. It's like another signing. Donny van der Beek's like another signing. So if he can buy 4 or 5 players this summer, he's basically got 5 or 6. Because Donny van der Beek's a new signing as well. And it's a player that you can trust. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with that. James says, is it confirmed? It's confirmed that Charlie's a new member of the club. Welcome to Charlie. If you want to be a member like Charlie and Kieran, you can see their little badges next to the name. Click the join button, which is pinned at the top of the live chat. You also get exclusive content now for the members as well. The club is already preventing the loss to Liverpool, says Miguel. The next thing really is when will it be announced? So let me just read you the tweet from Fabrizio Romano again that came out and prompted all of this. Erik Ten Hag to Manchester United. Here we go. Agreement in principle. Agreement on contract now set to be completed. Mitchell van der Gaag, priority candidate for coaching staff, as we know. And Ajax and Manchester United are in contact to discuss the clause. And announcement timing depends on this. Today, not today / tomorrow. So I think we had a genius comment this afternoon on the press conference reaction where somebody said that it will not be in the it will not be before the Liverpool game because they will be able to react to that with a loss by putting it out there. Ajax will receive 2 million release clause. We'll see if it would be Man United to pay or Erik Ten Hag himself. I don't know what that's all about from Fabrizio. But look, I've got to be honest. I felt for 2 weeks ago when they said it was done, I knew it was done. Ultimately, you put yourself in the position where if it hadn't have happened, it would have collapsed on United's side, which they couldn't have done. So I'm excited. I think for me, I am genuinely excited. I am genuinely positive. I hope you are as well. I think sometimes you try and put a smile on something you're a bit uncertain about. I genuinely, if this goes wrong, it goes wrong, but I genuinely sit here in front of you feeling genuinely excited. And I'm fully aware that the rebuild is going to be difficult. My mind wanders next, to be honest with you, to recruitment. We do need to get rid of some players. We know some players are definitely going to go anyway. I can see people talking about Timber and talking about Nkunku and other players. Darwin Nunez, Donny van der Beek will come back. And I think, well, look, as many of these players that we can get in as possible. That United side needs 4 or 5. I mean, to be honest with you, it needs 8 or 9 players, but we're not going to get 8 or 9 players in one summer. So you're already looking to next summer. But if we can get 5 or 6 new players in this summer, some of the young players coming through as well, maybe improve some of these players who've been shit this year, and it just becomes exciting, doesn't it? So I'm looking forward to it. And off the top of my head, I look at that United team next year and I think, look, De Gea in goal, Dalot right back, Varane, a new centre-back, probably Luke Shaw for another year, new CDM, you got Donny, you got Bruno, new wide attacker, Ronaldo will still be here, Sancho will still be here. There's that team can improve massively in a very short space of time, but togetherness will be the key, style of football will be the key. And I'm very enthusiastic about it, and I'm looking forward to what the future's going to hold. So bring it on, I would say. We still have an 8 o'clock show. Yes, we still have an 8 o'clock show. When we get Ralph, we thought we were going to play better football. What makes us think these players won't down tools in the next 2 years because they don't like training past 6 p.m, says Raven. Good question. 2 things. Ralph Rangnick was brought in December. Pre-season is massive in relation to your fitness and conditioning for the season ahead. So taking a team that's a part of the bus counter-attacking team and making it a high-press energy team was going to be very difficult in December. Second thing, you're right, the players didn't want to do it, which is easier to down your tools when it's an interim coach. So when Erik ten Hag comes in with and remember, Rangnick's had to use a lot of Ollie's coaches as well. When when ten Hag comes in, he's got a whole pre-season to get them working hard and say this is the way we're going to play. He is the permanent manager, so if players don't like it, you can just get rid of them, and that's going to make a massive amount of difference. So yeah, it'll be like night and day comparing the job that Rangnick had to do to what Erik ten Hag needed to do, and yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And the club must back him. And I think one of the positive things is that this deal, they've been negotiating for 2 weeks, so hopefully that means that Erik ten Hag has been, digging deep into what he wants. But you've got what you wanted. Most of you've got what you wanted. You wanted Erik ten Hag to get this job. You were desperate for him to get this job, and he's now going to get the job. He's Manchester United manager. Your job now is to back this manager. Your job is to say, the challenge is there for you as much as it is for Erik ten Hag. Can you rid your mind of player FC? If he walks into the first game of the season and he plays Maguire and he doesn't play the new centre-back, if he comes into the new game and he picks McTominay over the new CDM, are you Erik ten Hag out? You can't do that. This is the manager. We've got to back this manager. This is what we wanted. Let's see what he's all about. And there will be bumps in the road. Of course there will. Anyway, please smash a like on the video. There's 14,000 people watching, which is great. And we will have an 8 o'clock show for you. But Fabrizio Romano has come out in the last half an hour saying that Manchester United, here we go, with Manchester United, here we go, with Erik ten Hag. Is a fake Pep and another massive mistake, says Tariq. Well, Tariq, you're not going to ruin the show. You're not going to undermine me. You're not going to make me feel nervous. I'm not concerned about what Tariq's got to say, because you know what? I've been watching Ajax for a while. I've been researching Erik ten Hag for about 3 months. And to be honest with you, you'll probably find clips from me in January saying I'd probably go with Poch. I might have even said it in February. And that to me isn't flip-flop. That's actually taking your time on a very serious decision. And as I said, I think it was the start of March, and I just went, I'm all in on Ten Hag. This is the man. This is the man. It's taken me a bit of time. It's taken a bit of research. It's taken a bit of thinking, but this is the man to go for. And hopefully that's what the club's done as well, because there's no doubt that they were thinking about Pochettino as well. And it doesn't matter if you've had different things and different thoughts, if you come to the right decision at the end. Sean Thompson, thank you very much for joining the members club. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, look, we'll discuss it more at 8 o'clock. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will speak to you all at 8. But it's great news. Make sure you smash a like, and speak to you all in a bit. Thanks to all our members as well who've joined while we've been live. I think I shouted you all out. Do you think Real Madrid have a chance against City, says Walid? I hope so. I hope so. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Good news.